Welcome to the night where the vibes are right. Chilling with DC, ready for the light. Grab a cup, kick back, let's ignite the chat. In this space, believe me, there's no room for flat. So come on in, let's vibe it out. Not so random, let's go with the flow. Chatting away as the good times go. Under purple lights, every moment's a treat. With laughter and love, we all feel the beat. Talking dreams, making plans, just let it flow. Dance through the topics, we'll take it slow. From silly to deep, we'll touch every strand. In the glow of our lives, let's make our stand. A journey we take, just you and me. Not so random, let's go with the flow. Chatting away as the good times grow. Under purple lights, every moment's a treat. With laughter and love, we all feel the beat. Thanks for joining, it's been a delight. See you next time. Sure, yeah, it's been a delight. See you next time in the warm moonlight. See you next time in the warm moonlight.
Hola, from the west side. Welcome to the Purple Paisley Den. Camera. And let me go ahead and send out a notification. Make sure we now I'll tell you one thing that I do like about the what I do like about one of the things that they have added on that is that you press the button and it immediately starts your intro, and when you end your live, it immediately goes into your outro. You don't have to do any of that stuff. And I like the fact that, I have my own background music. It still plays there. But, I created this because you can not correct that, just like I did for the daytime album. Probably gonna just change it up a little bit, other folks are doing. Anyway, how you guys doing today? Everybody is doing well. You have you a libation. I have mine. I have mine here. And I have my red cup with violets on it. African violets to be specific. This is my Delta cup. And what's in it is my business. Because we grown. Because we grown. But cheers. Anyway. So, but the thing that I'm not liking is that unfortunately StreamYard is still janky with the connection and stuff. You know, because oh, my glasses. Let me grab them. Yeah, but it's janky with the connection. So, you know, of course I started made sure this was up and ready 30 minutes ago. Because I didn't want no mess. I did not want no mess. You know. But how y'all like my background music? You know, put it in the comments if you're listening to this on the replay. We're gonna be coming on here more, you know. As you can see, I have the den as the background tonight. Today it's daytime pop up. I've had, you know, the office background. Now we are in the purple Diva Den mode. And speaking of the purple Diva Den, I did announce this earlier on my daytime pop-up, but I have finally gone back on Twitter, known as X. I'll see about whether I want to verify my account on there. My account is verified on other platforms such as Instagram. But on Instagram, I am CC the Purple Diva. And on Twitter, I am the Purple Diva. Without the DC in front of it, because I've had several pages compromised. So this time I'm using my other account for my poetry page, you know, which is really the only email that I have for my social media for you guys to contact me at, which is thepurpledivaden@gmail.com. If someone ever wants to email me, it's thepurpledivaden@gmail.com. That is my YouTube email address. But I did finally go on Twitter, so since I'm now back on Twitter X, because any of my videos that I put out, I no longer had a Twitter handle in there because I was not on the platform because my account got compromised when it became X. As a matter of fact, it got compromised. So I decided that I was going to leave that platform alone for a little while. And so I just decided to go back on. I just decided to go back on there. Um, haven't really done nothing with the page. I think I'm following 5 people, but if you follow me, I'll follow you back. If you follow me, I'll follow you back. But I've seen a lot of people on here talking about basketball wives and the Jackie Christie situation with her daughter Chantel. And I have not watched basketball wives in a minute because when they did that mess with OG, as a brown girl, I was like, okay, I see y'all. So it was just crazy to me, and it never really was fully addressed. But from my understanding, from what I do know, I mean, I've seen clips of the show, but currently I'm not subscribed to VH1. It's not among my channels that that's in my packages, that's in my Prime or my whatever. So, but when it comes to the dynamics between adult children and their parents, I can speak on it from the standpoint of being a parent of someone on the spectrum. And, you guys, I've been very honest on here and speaking about, and you guys knowing about my son having what I will call adult meltdown that have been, kind of crazy. And he hadn't had any in a long time, but today he did have one. And hit my hand like a 2-year-old. And thank God that's all that happened. He was able to get himself calmed down. But dealing with a meltdown from someone who's on a spectrum as a parent can be dangerous depending on the severity of their autism, and also what happens during their meltdown. But when you're talking about an adult child getting into a physical altercation with their parent, and we're not talking about someone on the spectrum, it makes me remember Marvin Gaye and his dad, and how that physical altercation ended. And I'm not even trying to compare what happened between Chantel and Jackie to that, because from what I understand, Jackie clocked her, and it's crazy because if my son were not on the spectrum and came at me I would beat him like he was a ninja off the street. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's like it's crazy to me seeing parent and adult child put hands on each other. I mean, why did it come to that? Is the bigger question. Why did it come to that? You know, it got crazy though, because it had to get crazy if one of the people involved is knocked the F out, clock. I'm just saying, it had to. I mean, and I don't think Jackie's that much younger than me. I think we're in the same age range. I know her daughter is older than my son. We're talking about a, a child that's in their a child that is in their 30s. So let me see. How old is Jackie Christie? I'm sure she's close to, if not 60. Jackie Christie age. Jackie Christie was born in 69. Okay, so she was born in 69, so that means that she'll be 56 this year. Hey, Steve! How you doing, sis? Yeah, I decided to start coming back. I decided to start coming back live again. So Jackie Christie is in her 50s. And her daughter is in her 30s. It, it sounds crazy on so many levels, but and however, those of us who have seen Basketball Wives in the past know. I thought she was too. I thought she was too because I thought she was at least, but she's my sister's age. She's just 55 or 50. Well, she's going to be 56, or she is 56, depending on when she was born in 69. But it's just crazy to me. But we all know how these women operate on Basketball Wives. I mean, we know how many times people have leapt across tables and been ready to fight. And Jackie is also always on 10. She's always ready to fight. She's always ready to fight. But her daughter, oh, you know her? Oh my goodness. Uh, why would you get into it with your child? How bad could the situation be that you feel you have to punch her in the face? I'm just trying to understand the logic. and you do this on camera. I guess y'all are all about the ratings. And apparently her daughter is one of the cast this year. So I'm of the same mind as other content creators who have spoken on this. What possessed Chantel to become a cast member on Basketball Wives with her mother? Considering the shakiness of the relationship, because from what I have seen, Jackie doesn't have a good relationship with either one of her children, either one of her daughters. Got daughters. It you know, now I'm a boy mom, so I understand that the dynamics between sons and their moms is completely different. Normally, I'll say at least in the black community, when there's not any kind of crazy stuff going on, boys worship their mom. Mommy is it, especially once they're adults, you know. And that's not even about them being a mama's boy. But in many situations, unfortunately, in the black community, black moms take that tension that they may have had with their daughters when they were teenagers. Because, let's be honest, a lot of us are in conflict with our moms when we are teenagers. We are trying to, flex our stuff. I remember when I was a teenager, I was like, I can't wait till I get out of here. I want to get out of here and get as far away from here as possible. And never mind the fact that I did exactly that. Moved from the East Coast to the West Coast. However, my whole family followed me out here. But as an adult, my mom was my best friend. And I miss her tremendously because she is not here anymore. So to see a mother and daughter, much less a black mother and daughter, fighting like that, I'm just like, what the heck is going on? But Jackie is not, she's not wrapped too tight. I mean, we've seen that over the years. She's not wrapped too tight. And I remember there was these rumors out there that her and her husband were getting a divorce, but clearly that was a lie because they seemed to be together. So, that was some AI stuff, I guess. But the irony of it is that throughout them being on the show, in reality, I think Jackie was the only one who was an actual basketball wife. And then, of course, Malaysia was at one point, but then her and her husband got divorced. And then Brandy was, but I think her and her husband got divorced. So in the end, she's the only one who was still married to someone who had played basketball. He was no longer, obviously, Doug is no longer a basketball player, but she's still married to the person who was a basketball player. The rest of them, I mean, Shawnee included, are the ex-wives. It should be basketball ex-wives or ex-girlfriends, And some of them weren't even married to a basketball player. Okay. That's what I'm saying. They were saying that she went through that there was a divorce. Let me just look. Let's look. Jackie Christie divorce. Jackie Christie still married. They were married for a bunch of years. Let's see. Okay. So, there we go. Yes, she is still married to him. So I guess it's come hella high water. Or either that or it's just cheaper to keep her. 'Cause I'm pretty sure they don't have a prenup. I'm pretty sure. And I think at least one, if not both of her daughters are his kids. Yeah, at least one of those, at least one of the kids, at least one of those kids is his. Um, you know, so it must be cheaper to keep her. It because or he's just or he's able to deal with her crazy. You know, he's able to deal with her crazy. That has to be it. He's able to deal with her crazy. So I guess it must be that. But I'm sorry. Why do you get into a fight with your child? Whatever y'all had to resolve should have not been should not have been something that happened in front of the camera or even in public at all. That's just crazy to me. Oh well, it could be that too, because there's a whole lot of that going on. I don't understand. I don't understand that either. But there's a whole lot of that going on. Unfortunately, you know, I'm like I'm just thinking about the most recent when Remy Ma and Papoose has been airing each other out, were airing each other out, and he talked about her being a carpet puncher and doing stuff with their child in the room, which is just crazy to me. I'm, I mean, to each his own, but with your child in the room, with your daughter in the room, no less. See, people don't understand doing that kind of stuff around children puts an impression on them. You're destroying their innocence. I mean that we're not even. I'm not even getting to FA because that stuff goes on, unfortunately, in the industry and outside of the industry as well, and it just messes up so many young lives who don't know who question their sexual identity. Not all, but some do. I know. I remember, and I didn't know this at the time, but I found this out when I was older. I have a relative who, as a teenager, was great. And from that act, she became pregnant. and she had the child and raised the child. I mean, they that was her only child. But after that act happened to her as a child, she was 15 when this happened to her. She then went on to put on weight, and to the point that in her 20s, she had rheumatoid arthritis from all the weight she had put on. Now, later in life, she, lost a lot of that weight, but she put on that weight because of what had happened to her as a child to keep people away from her. And I recognized that when I got older, but I just never understood it when we were younger because we didn't, as kids, we didn't know what had happened to her. But this happened, when I was a child. Like I remember. And the crazy thing is that at the end of life, she was in the hospital, and when her son was told that she was about to leave this earth, he couldn't handle it, and he died the day before she did. He ended up having a heart attack and going out of here a day before his mama. His mama didn't even know that her son was gone when she left here. That was, but I just remember that one act. She never married. Never married. I think she might have dated a little bit, but not a lot, because of what had happened to her as a child. She didn't really trust men, And now this happened down in New Orleans, and her family was very well known, and they knew the perpetrator. He was still alive, but some stuff happened to him. Oh, because did I mention that she had 10 siblings and she was the youngest of 11 children? Yeah. My family. This is one of my family members down in New Orleans. So that's the serious end of it. But even who would do something in front of their child in the same room as their child with someone who is not their parent? Because I know, sometimes parents, when their kids are real little, they might want to, get it on, and the baby's in the crib sleeping. But that's a whole nother situation. I'm talking about her doing something with somebody who's not her father, but is allegedly she did with another female. Someone she knew from when she was behind bars. Now we know that people do stuff when they're behind bars, and people get turned out and whatnot, and they come out of there not the same way. It doesn't happen to everyone, but I don't know. It's just crazy that she would do something like that in front of her kids. If in fact that's true. Okay, I'm gonna have to get my fan, y'all. This is, I'm starting to have a flash. Even though I have the fan on in here. Oh, I think David's gonna come. David wants to come and be seen. Hold on. Come on. You have to come up close. They cannot see you. Okay, they can see you now. Say hi. Oh, since he came in the room, I'll have to this this weekend actually Sunday, he went to his first adult concert. We went to the Hollywood Bowl and we went to see Sir, Sir, Inglewood Sir, Jackie's son or baby at a sold out show. It was amazing. It was amazing. I mean, it was crazy because those kids, I mean, they're kids to me, but they're not kids, you know what I mean? Because we're talking about people in their 20s and 30s. They knew the words to every single one of his songs and sang the songs along with him. It was crazy. And then the guy that opened for him, Leon Thomas, used to play on some show on Nickelodeon or something as a teenager. But he's the one who sings that song called Mutt. You know, he said, take your time, what's the rush? He said, a dog, I'm a mutt. That song. That's it. But they knew the words to every single song these guys were singing. It wasn't like that when we went to concerts. We didn't come in there and know. I mean, even we knew all the words. I mean, and now it is probably when we go to the concerts with the old school artists. Now, yeah, we're singing all the words and everything. But when we were younger, we were at the concert to enjoy it. We were at the concert to enjoy it. But Sir even had the words coming up on the two monitors on the side over the performance. Because you know how the Hollywood Bowl is, you have the bowl stage and then they have two big monitors and the words were coming across there and everything. And he had he had some guests with him. His oldest brother, Davion, was background vocals for him. His uncle, Andrew Goucher, was on bass for him. And Ron was in the audience. And Betty was in the audience to his sold out show. And, he just took it all in and he said, he was like, since my mom would have loved this. And at one point in the show, it really hit him because, it's been almost a year since Jackie left this earth. And she's not here to see her son headline, her baby boy headline a show in his hometown. A sold out show. A sold out show. And people from him growing up, people from LA, the LA Film and Music School, they were there. And of course, everybody it was just a huge number of us from Bible and Richmond who came. it was just such it was just so emotional for him. It was overwhelming, but uh he did an amazing show. The show was amazing. It was amazing. It was amazing. I'm like, I was just so blown away by the huge crowd, the sold out crowd, and the young girls were screaming when he pulled off his shirt. And it was like girls like next to me. I said he has a wife and kids. He's married. I was like, I've known him since he was a little kid. He's like a couple of years older than my son. I'm like, and the little girls next to me were in their 20s. I said, I knew you were younger than my son because David was sitting on the other side of me. He was sitting there. He was taking everything. He had a good time. Everybody, we all were just so proud to see one of our own. Like, he's a superstar, and he even had someone who he used to engineer for come out and sing with him. The incomparable Miss Jill Scott did a guest appearance with Sir. So, and I remember he used to be her sound engineer when she would come out here to LA. He was like, I'm like, I remember people were talking about how good a sound engineer he was. And now he has come from out of the booth and he is headlining show. He and Davion, he and D Smoke are both Grammy nominated. And then I believe Davion and D Smoke are both have an ASCAP. Jackie would be so proud. She would be so proud of her son. I'm like, she raised them up for this. She raised them up for this. And yeah. And I can say that my son grew up with Sir and D Smoke and Davion. He grew up with them. He grew up with Tiffany Goucher. Okay. Tasha Smith used to go to my church. Hope Flood still goes to my church. Okay. Sheila E is still a member of our church. She's just, doing her thing. So it's, yeah. And I cannot forget my soror, writer extraordinaire, Miss Victoria Christopher Murray, best-selling author. A lot has come out of our church. A lot has come out of our ministry. God-given talents, people using their talents, in what is considered marketplace ministry, but nonetheless doing what they do. And it is just so beautiful to see Daryl out there, because I remember when Jackie could barely get him to sing. She could barely get him to sing. She could all of them were so that she pulled this out of her son. She pulled this out of them. I'm like, she's the reason, like, that D Smoke blew people away when they found out that this dude is a classically trained pianist, and he speaks fluent Spanish while he's rapping. And then her baby boy is headlining. And then Davion, they just love him over in Japan. So it's it's just it's just a blessing. But it's bittersweet because my friend is not here anymore. Because her sons was gonna take her on tour with them. Whew. But I know she would come back. She would not. I know she would not come back. She wouldn't come back here. And it's just crazy right now in this country. It's just crazy in this country. So I don't know. It's like that man in the White House is making up stuff. He's playing in our face about these Epstein files. He knows he's all over those Epstein files. He knows he's all over those Epstein files. And that's why we're not going to ever see him. Hopefully they still exist. He's trying to, distract us, putting out the Martin Luther King files. Man, you didn't put out nothing we didn't already know. We knew that they were watching this man and profiling this man from the very beginning. They were watching him from the very beginning. We already knew all of that. You're not telling us anything we didn't already know. They did that with every single Black leader that was trying to unify Black people. That's my customized music. There we go. I did it over on one of the AI apps for my live. So I have one that's for this one, and I know my internet is acting up right now. And it's not my internet, it's them, because I'm looking at my internet. My internet is strong, but yeah. Anyway, in the live stream, it's not, apparently. But I went on one of those AI apps and just told it what I wanted the song to be about, told it what the name of the show was, that it was a YouTube live stream show, and then it gave me what I wanted, and I paid to make sure that nobody else don't get copyright strikes for using a song that I paid to create. Because, I was trying to get my goddaughter to do one for me, but this was easier, and this is probably cheaper than having one of the things that she does, because she does stuff for artists and stuff, not just for her godmama. But this was cool for this, but I still wanna I'm still gonna work on some stuff with her. I'm gonna work on some lyrics for some of her music so that she can publish it, get it out there. But the show on Sunday was phenomenal. I'm glad that I went. I would have been sad if I had not gone. I literally ended up buying tickets on the last day. Wow. Yeah, I know. And it and in saying that Betty, that's why I pray, you know, and why I support my friend Jackie's son because they're in that industry. They're in the music industry. And you still and even though they grew up in the church, they know the word, they know the Lord for themselves, they know that God is real. They, you know, their their father, their mother, or their mama was a minister of music. Their father is a minister. You still have to pray because they're in that industry. You just have to cover them, and I just keep those young men covered because you know the industry could try to swallow them up for the talent and just spit them out. And I just thank God that they are grounded, that they are grounded, because I know the music industry is, whoo, there's a lot of stuff. I saw stuff, and I was just like, you know, I don't think I'm ready for this. This is too much. It was a lot. I had whew, women coming at me, men coming at me. It was just too much. All I wanted to do is just sing, put my stuff, out there. And then I got pregnant with my son, and then we found out my son had autism. So then I kind of, laid back and said, okay, well, I'm gonna be a writer. So now I write, you know, and I'm writing books, I'm writing my poetry, and I'm writing songs, you know, and I'm good with that because, I think I was around some of the same circles that other people who are no longer here were around. And decisions that I made because I saw things that were just ungodly, not, just kind of corruption, just people thinking that you were going to sleep with them to get some studio time or to get on somebody's record or to be in some video. Like, what? You know? And, this is before I was married. This is like, my early 20s to my late 20s. And then once I got married, I was still doing the music and everything. But then once I had a kid, that slows stuff down. And then when we found out he had autism, that brought it to a screeching halt as far as me being an actual performer, even though I have had people who have wanted me to go out on the road to do background stuff. And I'm like, I can't do that. My son. My son, I can't. And it's like, and I think about that, and not being out there exposed to certain things probably protects you, and probably being in studio just doing background vocals when people are doing recordings was probably better. hmm I'm just saying, probably better. But you know, today, who knows? The music industry is just crazy. I mean, we we're dealing with Nicki Minaj crashing all over Beyonce's internet about younger artists who are out here putting out music, and she's doing absolutely nothing. And I personally think that who she married is limiting what she can do because he can't go nowhere, you know, because he's considered a, offender. So, and then you have this whole situation of kids popping up on Jay Z, you know, and him trying to deny it because if in fact that comes out to be the truth, well, that would make you worse than R. Kelly. That would make you worse than R. Kelly, who you did a tour with after you know what he did to Aaliyah. Rest in peace. Everybody knew what Robert was up to. I even knew somebody that Robert was messing around with out here in California. But she was 18, you know. I think after Aaliyah, he learned his lesson to stay away from them if they weren't at least 18. It was crazy. I mean, we knew that like way back in the late 80s, when he was with public announcement. That's why when all that stuff came out, Gen X and Gen Jones, well, we were just like looking at it like, that's why this whole thing with Diddy just makes DV okay, I guess, in people's eyes. If you're in a relationship with that person, it's okay for them to beat your behind up and down the hallway. hmm I don't know. Yeah. Well, the thing with Jay Z, according to, he was supposed to answer last week, um, and then his lawyer hit them with more paperwork again. Um, he is doing everything he can to not take that DNA test, but eventually, that DNA test is going to happen. And here's the thing: if that's not your kid, that's what it will show, and you can move the f on. But the fact that you have been fighting this for years and years and years and years and years seems like you did do something with that girl, and there is a possibility that this is your kid. That's what it's making it seem like. child, don't come after me. Because this really has nothing to do with B. This has everything to do with Jay Z before he got with her. Because Beyonce was what, 19 when he got with her? So, you know. And then, before her, him and Damon Dash were allegedly, you know, fighting over Aaliyah. And Aaliyah was young. She was only 22 when she left this earth. So I'm just saying, Aaliyah was not that much older than Beyonce. So and Jay Z is what, in his, what was he born in? 69. So that would make him what, 69, 70? That he's in his mid 50s. Either way, he's in his mid 50s. Either way you look at it. I'm sure. I think he was born in 69. Let me Jay Z age. I know. Yeah, he's 55. Yep. So that means so if he's 55, that means he was born in 70. That means he was born in 70. Because if he was born in 69, he would already be 56. Because I think his birthday's in April. Yeah. I think his birthday's in April. So Beyonce's birthday's in September. He was born in 69 or 70. Either way, he's way older than her. Is my point. Is my point. Way older than her. Just like Diddy is way older than Cassie and all them other girls, including Young Miami. Way older than all of these women. In his freaking mid 50s, chasing behind 20-year-olds. Stop it. And we see where it landed him. And my question is it because they reduced his charges down to the most he could possibly be in there would be 20 years. And that's if they make him, if they don't allow it to run concurrent. But did he learn anything from this? Do y'all think he learned anything? Or does he just think that, he's still invincible? When we know he got off on Erder way back in the day. I don't think he did. And I'm going to say this. Some of the YouTube content creators that went in on him hard, just watch back. Because, and I like Tisa Tells, but people are speculating that some of the things she said were not true. Whether they were or were not, maybe she was very biased in her commentary. But yeah, I would definitely watch myself with the Diddy fanatics, etc. You know, his stance can be kind of crazy. You know, I don't know. I just the prosecution didn't do what they didn't do their job, or the jury didn't believe them, didn't believe the witnesses. Either way, this is where we are. This is where we are. It'll be interesting to see what happens when it's time to sentence him. And hopefully, you know, he'll keep it together in the meantime. Hopefully he'll keep it together in the meantime. But y'all, I'm gonna get ready to get out of here because I know tomorrow I gotta be up bright and early. Start work at 6. Let me change this to the non-instrumental of the music. Let me find it. And then I do like the outro that it'll just come outro on for me. Where is the? Alright, you guys. So I will see you guys. I will see you in the next one. Tomorrow is Thursday. I have choir rehearsal. I don't think I'll be on tomorrow. I may come on for daytime pop up during the day, but I probably won't be on tomorrow night. And maybe I'll be on Friday. Yeah. Try some on Friday. But until then, you guys, eat. Blessings from the West Side. I'm gonna get out of here. See you guys. Peace. Bye. Well, guys, that's it for tonight's Not So Random Chat. But I'll see you guys the next time. Until then, peace and blessings from the West Side. I'm out. Peace.